Hello, friends, and welcome back to the channel. You know, some people call me the tank cowboy, some people call me the gangster of love, and some people call me gung ho because I can tank the boss, dodge mechanics, and still keep my mustache looking fantastic. Anyway, moving on. In today's video, we're tackling the hardest start to dungeon in this game, the Island of Terror, or as I like to call it, Heartbreak, Despair, and Hot Beer. Yes, all the worst things rolled up into one. But fear not, my friends, fear not. I'm here to show you how to conquer this dungeon properly, and dare I say, easily. The tips, all the tricks, and everything in between. Let's go, Enrique Iglesias style. All right, folks, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. So again, what you want to do is when you come in, you want to aim for that right side. You want to aim for kind of like in between right there. As a tank, I'm going to go over and I'm going to try to grab that first group that you see right there. Again, our goal is to hit that first brazier right there. So again, I'm going right over and you're going to see I'm going to try to tank all three of them right here. And again, this is kind of the first thing that you do is just kind of activate this as you tank them right there. All right, when you're done, the boss is right there, the mini boss. What I like to do is clear the mobs, but again, sometimes you are in some randoms and they just attack the boss. That's fine. Try to kind of keep him all the way on the right side because this boss kind of works similarly like last time. What you're going to do is you're going to fight him until he goes invisible. And then when he goes invisible, you're going to want to run to one of these flowers. And then the more people that redial the flower, the faster this goes and you'll be able to do it. Again, if you have good DPS, you should only have to do really one flower. But again, if you have to do multiple, not a problem. The flowers do come back. All right, and then as you beat him, you go through the gate and try to get to the right. Grab these, pull them to the second group, and tank these guys right here. After you're done with these guys, you're just going to make right behind you, there's another brazier right there. You're just going to go straight to it and then kill these guys. Try not to pull anything. If you have to pull them, no problem. But again, you really shouldn't have to pull if the group sticks together, but there's a lot of randoms that don't know this. So again, if you pull them, no problem, just kill them. And then when you're done, you're just going to jump right over and go to the right. This over here is also a mini boss, so just make sure that you kill these two before you do anything else, before we prepare for the mini boss. This is where I tell the guy to stop, because again, sometimes they'll pull the boss, and you really should kill these two ads first. The only thing that you need to watch for this boss is the wave. And like last time, they doubled it, so you actually get two of them. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. So again, make sure that you jump twice. The best thing that I can do, or the way that we do it, is I always keep a 10-foot distance or more between the boss and myself when he jumps in that corner, so that it gives you more time to jump. I'll show you guys that one more time. And here we go, he's gonna jump back. And now keep in mind that we see how I kind of back up a little bit, and then you just gotta wait for it. And here's the first one, and then you just one jump, two jump, move on. All right, as you make your way up, you're going to get to the last mini boss. And this one's a little harder, so I'm actually going to explain this just a little bit because I see a lot of people dying here. So here is the best way to do this. The first thing is clear all the mobs because you're definitely going to need the space because he sometimes teleports to different areas. We just find that clearing the mobs here first or the ads makes this a lot easier. All right, and then we're on the boss. The best way to do this that we have figured out is you want to tank him by one of these platforms here, or whatever you want to call them. The reason for that is when he picks somebody, he is going to destroy that area with an AoE. It's just a lot easier if you're that person who he marks, because he's super fast this time, can just run behind and hide behind that area. Now, again, as DPS, we can sometimes, or tank, I should say, we can survive it, but to not stress the healer out is just a lot easier if you do it this way. And as you see right there, he kills the first one, then we pull him over to the next one, and as you see right there, that DPS didn't run fast enough, so he just got killed. You really want to make sure that whoever that is and who he has marked just goes in and pretty much runs out, you know, ASAP and tries to hide. Keep an eye on the shamans because they do heal him. Try to pull him in and let your group kill them, and so forth and so forth, and you should be able to beat this guy if you just follow this strategy. Let's move on to the main boss because that's really what we're all here for. All right, main boss time, and this one, guys, is pretty hard. I'm going to do this in steps so you guys know how to actually do this and what to watch out for with all of them. So let's begin. Step one is marking the puddles or the geysers, whatever you want to call them, right? Let's start with that. There are one of the main reasons why people wipe in this dungeon because they don't, pay attention to it. To avoid this chaos, use group markers like I have to clearly mark where the puddles are. Trust me, this will make your life so much easier. Here's why. There's a mechanic where the entire arena gets overrun by fog, and the boss then will throw down a meteor fire. You will then need to stand on that fire, catch yourself on fire, yes, on purpose, and then run around the arena to burn off all the fog. Your main focus during this phase should be to clear the fog from the 4 puddles because of what's about to happen next. This is crucial. What's coming up next that you need to know why, especially if you're a DPS, because they're going to die. So again, we'll talk about it in a minute, but for now, just know that I like to assign one DPS or a person to each puddle. This just makes it a lot easier. Again, their main thing is like, if you're 3, make sure to catch yourself on fire and clear 3. It makes things a lot easier. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is the fire stacks. Again, this is more for the DPS, not sus tanks, but again, it's good to know. So as you see right here, he's going to put the whole place, get the fog up, and this is kind of where he needs to go. So again, DPS, this is where you will die. So again, please pay attention to this. When the meteor comes down, most DPS forget all logic. They stand in the fire and rack up 3 stacks of fire, leaving the healer crying in the corner because they can't keep up with everybody. So here is how to avoid this and do this properly. 1. Bait the fire. If you are a DPS, run to your assigned puddle. The boss might actually drop the meteor right on top of it. If that happens, congratulations, you just pulled off the double whammy. The puddle gets cleared automatically and you don't have to deal with the fog as much, right? 2. Keep your fire stacks under control. Try to stay under 2 stack if possible. Anything over that, the healer is going to send you or passive-aggressive messages after the fight. So again, if you can keep the fire stacks 1 to 2 stacks when that meteor comes down, this fight becomes 50% easier, I promise you guys. Again, DPS, the big takeaway here, don't be stupid. Don't stress the healer. You got this. All right, here's an example of how we did this. As you see, the first meteor comes down. I'm going to stand it because I'm a tank. I can take the damage, and I'm getting number 2 because that's the one that I took. I'm clearing the whole area here to make this a little easier for everybody. Again, as you see, everybody else kind of did all around. So we're pretty much really good on this one. You are going to get a second meteor, FYI, in a second here. If in case there's something that messed up, you get a chance to go ahead and do that. So again, keep this in mind. As you see, there's a second meteor right now. All the other DPS are going to grab it and clear everything else out that they didn't as we get ready for the next phase. All right, step 3, the puddles. Now we're on the puddles part. And if you've done everything correctly so far, you'll be able to spot each of the puddles and check if the water is bubbling inside them. Bubbling means that's the one that you need to run to. A quick heads up, there's also a purple circle dodge mechanic. I'll show that for you guys here in a second. Right before the puddle activates, watch for it. That's kind of like your cue that this phase is starting. So again, we'll go over what to actually do here in 3 steps kind of for this. So step 1 here is dodge the attack. Once you've dodged the big purple mechanic, immediately start looking for the bubbling puddles. That's going to be your cue. As soon as you find the puddle, get to the puddle fast. As a tank, again, I almost have 20k HP here, or nearly 20k HP. I can shrug off the attack. But for everyone else, yeah, not so much. So run to the puddle quickly before you get killed. Finally, the last step. And again, this is like really random because I think it's actually a bug. This is supposed to be a 50%, but I've actually seen this activate all the time. The boss will do double puddles. So when you are in there and the puddle shoots you in the sky, you can transform into a bird. Keep a second up there really quick and look around if any of the other puddles are bubbling. If they're not, land immediately and then go attack the boss. If you see a second bubble or a second puddle bubbling, make your way to that bubble and go over it. Again, there's 2 puddles that he does sometimes back to back, like right away. So again, keep an eye on that. The best way that I know how to do this again is when you're in bird form in the sky, just kind of look around if there's another puddle bubbling. If there's not, land. If there is, run through it and then move on. Again, this mechanic is random. This is supposed to be, I believe, after 50%, but I see it happen all the time. Again, friends, good luck with this one. This is also where most people die. So, but again, I have faith in you. Let's move on to the next one. All right, step 4, the rat phase, the infamous rat phase, huh? Well, it's been updated, and honestly, it's a bit easier now, in my opinion, as long as you pay attention. During this phase, the boss turns everyone again into rats. But now, there's also a ring of death around you. And if you should touch any of the ring, guess what happens? You get stunned, and then the boss will come over and straight up eat you. So again, let's avoid it, shall we? Here is how you would handle this properly. Step 1. Don't move immediately after he transforms you. Just stay where you are for a second because the boss will actually give you a little pushback, which kind of leads to step 2. Wait for the pushback. Once the boss actually pushes you away a few feet, this is kind of where you want to stay distance-wise. If you want to take maybe 1 or 2 steps back just to feel a little bit more comfortable, you absolutely can. But again, do not touch the ring. That's if you touch it, you die. So gonna keep along with that. Step 3. Move with the boss. You'll notice that sometimes the boss, after he pushes you back, he will go after somebody. The boss is the center of the ring. So if he moves forward, the ring follows him. And if you're in the back and not paying attention, the ring will hit you. So again, move with the boss. Never let the ring actually touch you. Stay in sync with this. And then finally, step 4 here, when the boss actually targets you or anybody else, this is where you want to dig underground. Again, he'll go after one person at a time and try to eat them. This is where you want to hit that one and dig underground to avoid it. And then he will move on to the next person, then that person digs underground, then he'll move on to the third person and so forth and so forth. Quick FYI here. If everybody digs underground right away, or burrows underground right away, the boss will just stun everybody, drag everybody up, and wipe the whole group. You cannot do that. You cannot all go underground. You have to separate and do one at a time so he gets tired, which leads us to the final step, which is step 5. And if you do this correctly, after about 4 or 5 of him chasing, 5 people around, he'll get tired and he'll stop. The ring around you will disappear. This is your cue. This is where you want to burrow from, underground and then get to the flower. Also keep this in mind. If you go underground, stay underground. Do not dig up. There is a pause between how long you can use these. So it's just better if you stay underground, FYI. Here's an example of how we did it. As you see right here, he's going to that guy, so I'm just going to separate a few feet. He's coming to me, so I'm going to run underground, and you stay underground. He's going to the next person, and then they go underground, and we wait. You're watching the circle. As soon as it disappears, you get up, you go to your flower, you transform, and you're back at the boss. That's how you do it properly. Step 5, and this is a tank only. This is where we earn our coin, folks. This is where this is where we shine. After the rat phase, it's time to move fast. We need to eat our flower and get to the boss ASAP, and here's why. The boss will immediately start doing the purple diamond mechanic as you see on screen right now. This is triggered based on the distance between the boss and whoever holds aggro, usually us, right? The closer you are to the boss, melee range for example, the fewer of these mechanics will trigger. You can avoid all of them, but you can control most of them if you are in melee range, meaning they're not going to come up. You're not going to always just, burn and kill your group. And here's the tricky part. Again, this isn't your typical Q block and you just move on. Oh no, you'll need to roll dodge through them. Until you are in melee range, the boss will spam these continuously until, again, the aggro person is within feet of him. Translation. This is where you say goodbye to your stamina bar if you're slow. And again, you can only do 2 of these dodges before you're drained of stamina. So again, as a tank, you need to earn your keep. We need to earn our keep here. Move fast, stay close, and manage these roll dodges like a pro. Again, get in there, take control of the fight, and see what we can do here. I'll show you an example of how I do it. All right, rat phase. You see, I'm grabbing my flower and I'm running to him ASAP. And then again, you're not going to avoid all of them, but this is how you pretty much want to do it. And you have to get to him fast. Otherwise, you see what happens right there? You get one of those. Let's move on. All right, and the last thing that you have to watch again as a tank is this right here. When he raises his little staff and the fire is in there, there is no indicator on screen to tell you to do anything, but you're going to learn what to do here as a tank. What this is he's going to fire 4 consecutive fireballs at whoever's holding threat. Hopefully it's us. And you cannot avoid all of them. I've tried everything. You cannot, but you can avoid 3 of them. The best way to do this is as soon as you see him raise that staff, just about right there when he's about to kind of take it down a little bit. You want to hit Q here, and you want to be able to absorb at least the first three. The fourth one will hit you for about 3-4K, and it'll push you back. There is no way to avoid this. I've tried everything. I've tried to do the first one, the last one. It does not work. But again, you can help your healer if you just do this. You see right here, took the 4, no problem, and then you get the block right away after. And that is pretty much it for all the mechanics that you need to watch out for. Thank you guys very much for spending a few minutes with this one. I know this was a lot. Trust me, I spent the last 2 days trying to learn this freaking thing, and it is really a lot. However, if you follow all these steps, this will make this a lot easier, and you guys can do it with your group. It's a lot easier to do it with your group instead of random people. But again, if you can explain it to them, it wouldn't be that bad, right? Anyway, thank you guys very much again. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And in the comments, let me know if you're doing anything different to make this easier, because again, I'm seeing and I'm reading a lot of people had, struggling a lot with this one. So hopefully this helps out. Anyway, thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.